What's up YouTube, kthx91 here. I decided to make a video about the format now that it's officially December 1st and the ban is officially in effect. I'm going to talk about pretty much the decks I've been hearing a lot of hype about, what I think contenders of the format are, what I think of each deck. So yeah, the first deck I want to get into is a deck that's been getting some decent hype since Black Rose went to 3, and it is Salvo Dad. Basically Salvo Dad's a dark deck that basically plays around kthx Plus and other engines, but I do not think it's good enough this format again. Pretty much the deck can gain a lot of advantage if we can't do anything with it. So I've been toying around with the Salvo engine last format a lot, and I thought it was going to be good last format, and I was completely wrong. So I don't think it's going to be good this format. I have not seen anything new that's going to come out that make it good. 3 Black Rose, woo. There's a deck that does it better than them, and that deck would be the Quick Draw / Debris Hime deck. Quick draw decks have a lot of ways to do control things, and it's hard to predict them because they have so many options. I think they're going to be really good this format. They're one of the top tier decks, but until someone has to make an optimal build of them, because there's so many options with the deck, so many ways you can go with it, that it's going to be hard. But I do see it seeing a lot of play at YCS Toronto because of the 3 Black Rose, and they can do something after the Black Rose, because they're using Dandelion and stuff as a Debris Dragon to blow up the field, and then you get 2 tokens. Then you can do something with the tokens. So sorry guys, but so yeah, they can do more stuff with the Quick Draw and Junk Destroyer and all this stuff, all the support they have. They're a really good deck. I just think someone needs to make an optimal build of them, and then they'll be really good. Another deck I want to get into that uses, I guess, similar tactics, based on plants and everything, is the Naturia deck. We're talking about the Naturia Bamboo Shoot deck. So pretty much the goal of the deck is to drop Bamboo Shoot and drop a control card and like Swirl Oppression or Cactus Bouncer to lock your opponent out. I tried this deck a while ago at the beginning, like when I first heard about it, and toyed around with the idea. I don't think it's that great. It's a really hard combo to make, but I could be wrong. Someone would make a better build of mine. I didn't look too far into it, so I mean, it could be one of the sleepers of the format because Bamboo Shoot's really annoying once you get it out. But with the unlimiting of Cyber Dragon, makes it really an easy out to get rid of. Another deck I want to talk about is the Machina deck. I kind of go, I'm not sure how good they're going to be in this format because they didn't lose anything, but a lot of people gained one of their side deck card, which is Cyber Dragon for them. Basically the format has slowed down a little bit, so I think they can become better, but with laying over them as Cyber Dragon, so you can drop a Cyber Dragon, make a command using their whole field, and they're lost so much advantage off that they can't come back. The only way I would run Maki in this format would be the Jinzo Returner build that Peter Chang ran to win the YCS, even though he was disgraced and whatever, caught cheating with it. But yeah, the deck's still not that bad, especially in a slower format, so I think that's the only way I would run Machina, even though I don't like the deck. But if you guys are interested in Machina, that's the way I would go with it. Another thing I want to talk about is a deck that I heard by the ban list, so it's not seeing like any hype at all, but I think it's still really good, is Infernities. Infernities got slowed down a lot by hitting the launcher, which is one of their main win conditions, but they're still a really good deck because they can still spam synchros every turn. And then they have one of the best cards ever made, which is Infernity Barrier. It's pretty much, how can the deck not be good with a Solemn Judgment / Divine Wrath with no cost? People just need to learn how to run the deck better and do different strategies, but you still have 3 Mirages, so the deck's still really good. I think it's just one of the underdogs of the deck. I'm still siding 2 D Crows because of that deck. It's just one of those decks that people aren't going to think about. It's going to come by surprise. I see a lot of people playing it at Toronto. A lot of the better players could be using it. Still a really good deck. Another deck I want to get to, in the deck I formerly played, I'm not playing this format, sorry guys, is X-Sabers. X-Sabers are still a really good deck, even though the ban list touched them a little bit by hitting Rescue Cat. Basically now you're built around using all the X-Saber monsters that's basically around Cat. It's more X-Saber reliant, so I see Rakigura seeing a little bit more play. And I see people running 3 full Home Knights instead of putting the slots for Airballum in there. because I think you should only have one air ballon right now and 3 full home knights, because they actually base around more around the recursion monsters like Fall Troll and Full Home Knight and Oasis Swarm. I also see Reinforced Truth being a really big card. I actually have a list for X Sabers for this next format. I just decided not to play it because I wanted to go a new direction in this format. Even though I've had good success with X Sabers, I wanted to try something new. But yeah, if anybody wants the list, I'll just PM me and I'll send you the list of what, if I was to run X Sabers, this list I would be running. Because I've been seeing a lot of questions asked about that. Another thing I want to talk about is, since the semi-limiting from limited of Chaos Sorcerer, I want to talk about Chaos a little bit. Chaos is not, I don't think it's its own deck type. It's just something you throw into a deck that you can fit lights and darks in. Like, there's a lot of different Chaos builds. Like, there's the whole Sabo Chaos, there's D-Hero Chaos, there's pretty much you can fit a Chaos deck. I don't think a Chaos deck really exists anymore since the Envoys were banned, but people call it Chaos. So another deck, Black Wings, are an underdog deck, I believe, because the limiting of Black Whirlwind, they have to go a new tactic with them. But I still think the deck is good because they have so many dig cards, like they have 3 dualities, cards for Black Feathers, Allure of Darkness. They still have all these dig cards that can work really well in the deck. I just think they're a deck that people are not talking about that could be really good. So I would not be surprised if like a couple of them, like maybe 1 or 2, top 32 YCS Toronto. Now to talk about what contenders I think for this format. The first one I want to talk about is Herald of Perfection. I think this deck's gonna be really good because of the whole sorry guys, I have a little cold, but the whole Unlimited Decree, which gives them more of a lockdown against like their harder matchups like Gladiator Beast. So they can just drop Herald more freely and not be worried about a War Chariot, which is really bad for them last format. Also, since X Sabers get hurt a little bit, which is one of the worst matchups, they become better. I think the Happy Herald build's better. As long as you side deck correctly, you should be fine. So yeah, I think watch out for Herald. It's one of the top 3 decks, I believe. This next deck I touched on a second ago, which is Gladiator Beasts. The deck's still really good. The Banelets probably made it the best deck to run in the format because of how they touched on everything but it. Pretty much with the Band of Cat, you're running a Prisma build now, which I think the Prisma build is really good for this format since it's slowed down a lot. Also, with one of Machina seeing play, Prisma with your side deck Cyber Dragons is going to be really good because Machina has a really good matchup versus GBs in game 1. So I just think that there's going to be a lot of Gladiator Beast decks played at Toronto. I believe they'll be the most played deck, and I think they're just going to do really good this format. A good friend of mine, Jake Mattern, is, you guys may know him, SJC Edison Top Age. He's running Gladiator Beast like he always runs Gladiator Beasts. Yeah, I'm gonna leave his. He runs a YouTube. I'm gonna put it down here somewhere so you guys can see it. He basically, if you guys are Gladiator Beast fans and want to learn more about the deck and what he's running, what he does, he's probably the best Gladiator Beast player that I know. So I'm gonna send you his YouTube in a little while. Now into the deck that no one is talking about, that I haven't heard much about, that I am going to run this whole format, or until I find something else I like better, is Counter Fairies. I believe this is one of the top 3 decks of the format, even though it's not very talked about very much. Pretty much mostly because of the new card that came out this format. This new set is Solemn Warning. It allows you to pay 2,000 to negate a summon, and if you have Bountiful Armor on field, you draw a card. The deck just has so many different plays, with Heavy Storm being banned now. It makes the deck so much better. So I'm just going to show you a few things that I'll be running in the deck this format, like Doom Caliber Knight. It's really good. It can't negate Bountifuls. You got Bountiful's continuous effects. You have them both in the field and control the game phase. Also, there's Chaos Sorcerer. You can run the deck now. There's 2 of them. If you want Doom Cal and Bountifuls, they combo really well together with all the pieces. I'm not going to show you my whole list for a while because I know some friends of mine that are running a Counter Fairies. I don't want to like show off a list of them because at YCS Toronto I have a few friends. I'm not going to drop any names, but they're running a deck probably similar to mine because I've seen some of their builds. So I don't want to like hinder their chances of doing good because I can't go. So I won't want them hurting my chances. Why would I hurt their chances? But yeah. So pretty much, if you guys want the X Saber list that I would be running this format if I could, just PM me. So until next time, guys, it's Kid Flash over and out.